The Rise of the Zulu Kingdom and the Shadow of Empire. In January 1879, the British Army crossed into the heart of the Zulu Kingdom, confident that their disciplined redcoats could easily overwhelm the indigenous warriors. Armed with nothing more than spears and cowhide shields, commanded by Lord Chelmsford, a veteran of the Crimean War and colonial campaigns, the British underestimated the Zulu military tradition, not realizing that King Cetshwayo had marshaled a formidable force of 20,000 warriors ready to defend their homeland. To understand the clash, it is essential to consider the dramatic rise of the Zulu Kingdom, a powerful state forged in the early 19th century by King Shaka, whose innovations in military organization transformed the Amazulu tribe into a dominant regional power. Shaka's reforms introduced rigorous training from the age of 14, the short stabbing spear called the as, and the strategic battlefield formation known as Izimpando Zankamo or the Horns of the Buffalo, which combined frontal assault with enveloping maneuvers and reserves. These techniques allowed the Zulu army to not only survive intertribal conflicts but annihilate rival forces, incorporating conquered tribes into the Zulu state. By the time of Shaka's assassination in 1828, the kingdom had grown to an area of approximately 30,000 square kilometers, with a disciplined army of about 20,000 men, establishing a legacy of military excellence that would endure into the late 19th century. British expansion, Boer migration, and rising tensions. The Zulu Kingdom's growth occurred alongside the expansion of European powers in southern Africa, a period marked by the British establishment of the port city of Durban in 1824 and the arrival of Dutch-speaking Boers in the 1830s. The Boers, seeking independence from British colonial rule, migrated northeast to create new republics, often encroaching on Zulu territory. These overlapping territorial ambitions triggered violent clashes, such as the 1838 Battle of Murder Hill, where a Boer delegation was massacred by Zulu forces. Retaliation by the Boers at Blood River eventually forced the Zulu Kingdom to cede territory, solidifying the Transvaal as a Boer republic and extending British colonial borders in Natal. The following decades saw ongoing disputes over land and resources, fostering deep-seated hostility between the British, the Boers, and the Zulus. By the 1870s, British authorities sought to consolidate control through a confederation scheme, aiming to subordinate both the Boers and Zulus under imperial authority. This strategy was championed by Theophilus Shepstone, Secretary of State for Native Affairs in Natal, who believed in westernizing native populations and increasing British political influence, setting the stage for an inevitable confrontation with the fiercely independent Zulu Kingdom. The outbreak of the Anglo-Zulu War, the tension reached a breaking point on December 11, 1878, when British colonial authorities presented King Cetshwayo with an ultimatum that was effectively impossible to accept. The demands included paying fines for alleged offenses, handing over key Zulu chiefs, disbanding the army, and granting extensive rights to Christian missionaries and a British political agent. Cetshwayo, maintaining his kingdom's independence, refused the demands, providing Britain with a pretext to launch a full-scale invasion. On January 11, 1879, Chelmsford's 7,800-strong expeditionary force, armed with breech-loading Martini Henry rifles, artillery, and Gatling guns, crossed into Zulu territory, accompanied by auxiliary units such as the Natal Native Contingent and the Natal Native Horse. The British force vastly outnumbered local combatants in terms of equipment but underestimated the strategic ingenuity of the Zulu army. Chelmsford's plan divided his forces into three columns to converge on Ulundi, the Zulu capital, with the central column intended to draw the main Zulu army into battle. Meanwhile, King Cetshwayo rallied his warriors, motivating them with a passionate call to defend their homeland, igniting a war that would immediately test the assumptions of imperial power. The disaster at Isandlwana and the heroism at Rorke's Drift. The war's opening engagement at Isandlwana on January 22, 1879, turned British overconfidence into catastrophe. Chelmsford, distracted on a reconnaissance mission with part of his force, left Lt. Colonel Henry Pulleine with 1,600 men at the unfortified camp. Zulu scouts cleverly drew British units away, allowing Chief Nchingwe Okamaholi's 20,000 warriors to launch a surprise attack using the Horns of the Buffalo formation. Initially, British rifle and cannon fire checked the Zulu frontal assault, but the flanking Horns overwhelmed the stretched defensive line. The turn of the war, Kumbula and Jinganlavu. Despite the early setbacks, the British adapted their strategies, learning from the Zulu tactics at Isandlwana. In March 1879, Colonel Evelyn Wood fortified his position at Kumbula, employing a wagon logger and clearing fields to maximize the firepower advantage of 2,000 troops with artillery support. When 20,000 Zulu warriors attacked, they faced withering rifle and cannon fire. Multiple waves of the Horned formation failed to breach the defenses, resulting in over 2,000 Zulu casualties, while the British lost only 28 men. This decisive victory shattered the morale of the Zulu forces, demonstrating the devastating effect of disciplined firepower and defensive engineering. The The British consolidated their gains with another fortified engagement at Jingandlavu in April, where artillery and Gatling guns decimated approaching Zulu warriors, killing over 1,000 in mere minutes. These battles marked a strategic reversal in the Anglo-Zulu War, highlighting that tactical innovation and firepower could neutralize the Zulu army's renowned discipline and courage, setting the stage for the final campaign against Ulundi. The fall of Ulundi and the end of the Zulu Kingdom by July 1879. A reinforced British force of 25,000 men marched on Ulundi, bringing the full weight of the empire's military might. Among them was Louis Napoleon Bonaparte, the Prince Imperial, whose death at the hands of a Zulu war party underscored the lethal stakes of the campaign. The final confrontation at Ulundi saw the British deploy a massive square formation, supported by artillery and Gatling guns, shattering the attacking Zulu forces in just 30 minutes. The British captured and burned the royal capital, imprisoning King Cetshwayo on August 28. The 6-month conflict resulted in 1,900 British deaths and an estimated 7,000 Zulu fatalities, leaving the kingdom divided into puppet chiefdoms and renamed Zululand. The imposition of British control fueled years of internal conflict, and although Cetshwayo was later reinstated in 1883, his reign ended in continued instability. The Anglo-Zulu War remains a landmark episode of indigenous resistance against imperial conquest, celebrated for Zulu bravery and British valor alike, and its legacy persists in South Africa's history, ultimately influencing the creation of KwaZulu-Natal and shaping the memory of colonial-era struggles for sovereignty.